And we're back with U.S. Senator Mike Crapo, who's been very nice to stop by our station and just kind of chit-chat about what's been going on in Washington and something that's been going on in eastern Idaho this morning. You stopped by to talk about this program that you have about teens in dating and their safety. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, you know, domestic violence is a very big issue in America and in Idaho, and one part of it that is getting increasing attention is dating violence among our teens. It's a growing problem, and we've been addressing it in a number of ways, mostly to help our teens understand that they don't have to accept an abusive relationship, and that if they are in one, that there is somewhere to turn for help. And I've recently introduced legislation to help the Safe Drug School Act to be reformed to allow some of the financing for that to be utilized in educating our teens in high school and junior high school about the fact that they can have healthy, strong relationships and they don't have to put up with a violent relationship or an abusive relationship.
Is this something that, of course, parents need to be very involved in their teens' lives? What advice would you have for maybe parents to some warning signs, some things to watch out for, and where to go for help?
Well, the first and most important thing for parents is to let them know that they should be paying attention and that they should look for signals. And it's the same kind of signals that would be intuitively obvious to people, but just talking to their kids about their relationships and keeping up the levels of communications is the most important thing. And then, frankly, being willing to reach out. There are hotlines everywhere. We've got support groups in place right here in Pocatello and in the surrounding communities, and they can reach out and get help. And that's the most important thing for parents to know.
Let's briefly touch on a subject that your office issued a news release this morning about a gentleman who shot a grizzly bear on his property and now is being prosecuted for violating the Endangered Species Act. You came out to say we need to treat this guy fairly. Tell me your concerns.
Well, the man had 3 grizzly bears, a sow and her cubs, come onto his property and in an aggressive manner threaten him. And, you know, we can argue about whether the threat was as real as the U.S. Fish and Fish and Wildlife Service thinks it should be, but they shouldn't be prosecuting him, in my opinion. We need to make clear under the Endangered Species Act that when a protected species is threatening the property or the lives of a person, then they can defend themselves. And this man, I think, had every right to defend himself and his family. He has, I think, 5 or 6 children. His wife and children and he were on their property, and the grizzly bears were coming into their property. And I think that we probably need to change the Endangered Species Act to make the self-defense and defense of property available more easily to people, because, you know, right now I think it's just inappropriate that the Fish and Wildlife have charged him when he was doing nothing other than defending his family.
Okay, Senator Mike Crapo, thank you so much for joining us today. If we had some more time, we'd tackle Social Security or something like that.
There are a few other issues.
We do appreciate you making time for us this afternoon. Thank you very much.
My privilege, thank you.
And we'll have a look at your weather coming up.